Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Cryptocurrency Podcast here on MOONDUCK more popularly known as the Bitcoin Podcast. I'm Zayori, back again with my good friend Josh here, and it's been a while since October 25th. The last time we did one of these, Bitcoin was at a humble $5.6 thousand USD, and now, Josh, we're sitting pretty just shy of 17,000. So we've gone about 3x since we've last talked over the last 2 months or so. A lot has happened. Last we were talking, SegWit 2X was the talk of the town. Futures were soaring. I think they were somewhere around the 2000s, and that has since been canceled, and here we are. So what's going on, buddy? I have to imagine you're feeling good given the context of the current crypto landscape.
Yeah, no, the landscape has just boomed this past month while we've been gone. There's been a ton of news that's came out since SegWit 2X got canceled and put on hold. And yeah, Bitcoin, yeah, like you said, ran up almost 3x, and Litecoin, Ethereum joined in the fun too in the past week or so. So it's been a very exciting time for myself. I continued my dive into cryptocurrency, not only investing in all the different ones out there, but also building some like mining rigs and everything. So I've been having a lot of fun.
Yeah, we can see Ethereum is now at about 700, and Litecoin, last we looked at this, it was somewhere around 50, maybe 60, and now we're at 280. So all of the established coins in the space now really starting to see some momentum, and even Bitcoin Cash for that matter, maybe something we'll talk about in just a little bit more detail because it's also been booming. I think it's worth somewhere around 2,000 right now, 1,800, somewhere in that range.
So it's pretty high up there.
Yeah, so Bitcoin Cash has really accelerated, and of course, the propaganda war, it feels like, depending on which side of the coin you're on, whether you're a Bitcash coin kind of a guy or if you're a Bitcoin Core kind of a guy, things are getting interesting over there. So, Josh, first, talking to us about mining a little bit, man. What's the experience been like running a couple of miners out of your house?
It's been pretty interesting. So I just recently got my Bitcoin miner from Bitmain. They're the big manufacturing company where if you want to mine like Litecoin, Bitcoin, and like Dash, Dash has kind of died, but that was another currency that you could mine with their hardware and everything. It's been fun setting it up. I bought a monster 1600 watt power supply and have it going and running in the spare room in my townhome. So I have it muffled since the thing makes about as much sound as a vacuum cleaner. But it's going away. It's making pretty good gains. And my other miner is a GPU miner, so it's six GPUs, 1070 Ti's, and I actually have them in the kitchen. They do not make nearly as much sound. They're actually really nice.
Yeah.
They heat up the first floor or they heat up the second floor that I'm on. So
Wow, man.
on top of making some money.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. The Ethereum game has continued. What about weren't there rumors of Ethereum switching over to like a proof of stake type concept? So maybe GPU miners could be a little bit of a gamble. I thought that was what people were worried about a couple months back towards the end of 2017.
Yeah, so Ethereum has a pretty the head of Ethereum, Vitalik. He's kind of has a roadmap for Ethereum. Ethereum, unlike Bitcoin, has more or less a lead kind of design developer
Mm-hmm.
heading it, and they have a roadmap for what they're going to do over the course of the next year or so. I believe with Ethereum, and yeah, part of that is moving over away from this mining to proof of stake, like you said. One of the arguments against this whole cryptocurrency space is you need miners to support other transactions and everything and validate that everything is secure on the network. But at the same time, those miners draw tons of power. My Bitcoin miner, that's 1600 watts. That's basically like two hair blowers or whatever going at full speed 24/7. So that's a lot of power. You pretty much can't put anything else on that circuit without blowing a fuse.
Right.
So you got to imagine this on a large scale across the world. I think the number it's probably gone up since the last time I remember hearing, but I
Mm-hmm.
think it was $1 million a day to support the Bitcoin network as far as just money spent on power.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm sure that's gone up as more and more people have jumped on the mining train as Bitcoin has whatever 3x'd over the past whatever 1.5 months.
Well, and it's
So proof of stake is something that's supposed to be a solution to that mining problem. But I think even when they're going to switch over to proof of stake, they're still going to have mining on Ethereum. You're still going to need miners to verify some of the transactions. So it wasn't
mhm,
just going to be a light switch, and then all of a sudden Ethereum is no longer mineable. It was
got
going to
it.
be like some intermediate like transition period where there were still miners and they would slowly wean basically the miners off Ethereum.
hmm Okay, yeah, that sounds vaguely familiar, but that's good. That's very exciting. So maybe we should move forward, talk about really what's caused this giant spike in Bitcoin. I think that's from an outsider, or maybe people that have kind of tiptoed and maybe put a couple of $100 into Bitcoin since we've started this thing a few months ago. They've got to be feeling pretty excited right about now, but understanding why this giant surge happened, I think, is key, right?
Yeah, so a lot of it was just people getting into Bitcoin. That drove it up to about the 12,000, roughly 11, $12,000 mark. And then what really pushed it over that mark and made it quite literally go crazy over the past 2 weeks has been the CBOE releasing futures for Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the CBOE is the Chicago Board of Exchange, and the CME, the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, I believe is opening up futures on the 18th. So 4 days from now, another large American financial institution will be opening derivative products for Bitcoin.
Hmm.
So that is basically just another check mark in Bitcoin's credentials and everything. And so more money has just kind of flown in the cryptocurrency market.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, you saw it all in Bitcoin, and you didn't see it too much in Ethereum and Litecoin. But you kind of see this movement where everybody got in Bitcoin, and then everybody started to divest into the other altcoins. And you just see these waves of Bitcoin going up and the altcoins staying pretty much the same, then all the altcoins going up and Bitcoin staying the same. It's
Mm-hmm.
pretty interesting watching the price action and everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And with everything at all-time highs now, everyone is sort of feeling good, whether you've diversified in the space or not. Maybe let's talk about Coinbase a little bit, because that's where things have gotten interesting. You mentioned it basically pushed past 10,000 just on the quote unquote organic buzz, right? Just people buying it, people saying, you know what, enough is enough. Bitcoin's been around long enough. Enough people have talked about it. I'm finally going to buy some, right? That general attitude, when it's trending upward, will yield an increase in the price of Bitcoin. So oh god, I lost my train. Oh yeah, so Coinbase has been one of the main drivers of that. I think at this point it's kind of established by far Bitcoin, or Coinbase is really the easiest for a new user to get in and actually set up a Bitcoin wallet.
No, that's right. Coinbase, and you can tell that just by seeing the price action in the American markets where you're trading US dollar to Bitcoin or Litecoin or Ethereum.
Mm-hmm.
Over the past couple weeks, as you've seen these rise ups, the prices on Coinbase have been higher than other exchanges. So you can see that all the money is coming in directly through Coinbase and American dollars to these three main cryptocurrencies,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what's really driving the price up. So. Um, Also, South Korea is the other place. It's really interesting how there are so many different exchanges to actually trade these cryptocurrencies.
Mm-hmm.
On Coinbase, Bitcoin, I believe, almost touched $20,000. In South Korea, I believe at the peak it was $25,000.
Oh
So
wow.
you see huge price arbitrage going on between all these different exchanges.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, definitely for the American market, the US dollar market, Coinbase is how everybody's turning their dollars into cryptocurrency, and then from there they can go from cryptocurrency to whatever. It's very easy to move cryptocurrency to cryptocurrency. It's actually a lot harder just to get your US dollars into Bitcoin or Litecoin.
Mm-hmm.
Um, on some exchanges, it's pretty much near impossible. They will only accept cryptocurrency, and then once you have that, you can trade all the altcoins and what have you.
Right.
But making that exchange to US dollars is sometimes pretty hard. And I
Yeah.
think some of it is because of the regulations. They don't want to have to deal with having to pay taxes. So you just have exchanges that deal with all cryptocurrency and no actually fiat currency. And
Hmm.
so I think that's how they get around some of the regulations.
Absolutely. Yeah, no doubt about it. Maybe this is a good time to talk about Bitcoin Cash a little bit and maybe in a little more detail because it seems it's not going away, right? There before we started this particular episode, we were talking about how there was this window where it seemed like Bitcoin Cash was never worthless. You know, it was worth $300 or so for a pretty extended period, but it seemed stagnant. You know, it wasn't really growing. Nobody was really talking about it, and the price essentially seemed to be determined just from when it forked, and a lot of folks redeemed their what felt like free currency in Bitcoin Cash. But since then, it's changed, and it seems like Bitcoin Cash is really vying for the same title that Litecoin is, which is a coin that has a much wider ledger and one that can be transacted at a lower price and operate a lot more quickly and, as they claim, kind of efficiently. Talk to us about Bitcoin Cash, Joshy. Is it the new Litecoin, or is it the new Bitcoin, or is it both? I'm awfully confused. It depends who you follow on Twitter. I think is really how you know what side of the coin you fall on with this one.
You pretty much nailed it. Bitcoin Cash and Litecoin are pretty much competitors. They both are vying for the market of an everyday currency.
Hmm.
You've seen this huge boom up in Bitcoin. Another side effect of that is that fees to do transactions on the Bitcoin blockchain have also gone up a ton. It is
Right.
actually very expensive now to move your Bitcoin around to different wallets and everything. The fees have just skyrocketed. On the
Hmm.
other hand, Bitcoin Cash and Litecoin have very low fees, and Bitcoin Cash can actually handle a lot of transactions. They start on the 10-minute. The formation of blocks is still 10 minutes. Litecoin, I believe, is like 1.5 or 2 minutes.
Okay.
So maybe transaction time is a little faster, but they're both built to handle a lot of transactions. Um, and one of the reasons why Litecoin has really boomed in the past week or so is because this thing called the Lightning Network.
Hmm.
This is supposedly something that's being worked on, and they've tested it on the test net for Bitcoin and Litecoin, and it basically allows you to bypass exchanges and directly trade Bitcoin to Litecoin
Mm.
using SegWit. So SegWit 2x got canceled. That was going to be a hard fork. However, segregated witness is something that is active on the Bitcoin network as well as Litecoin.
Right.
And through that, you can actually do exchanges to Bitcoin and Litecoin once they develop this network. And this won't
Oh.
require a hard fork. This is completely, I believe, on the software side. They're trying to develop the wallet software to make everything like this happen. So
Wow.
if you can do that, then you can imagine you just instantly trade your Bitcoin to Litecoin. You don't pay any fees, and it's supposedly super fast. And you can use your Litecoin as your everyday currency with very low fees and very high transaction capacity.
Dude,
Um,
that makes me
so
want to buy some Litecoins. That sounds awesome.
yeah, so that's what Litecoin has been working on, and they have the
Wow.
same goal as being that's their goal. They see themselves not as something that overtakes Bitcoin. So Charlie Lee, he's the head of Litecoin.
Hmm.
He doesn't see Litecoin as replacing Bitcoin. He
Right.
respects Bitcoin and believes it always has a place in the market. It's the first one, and it's more of like a gold. He always makes the comparison. Litecoin is silver and Bitcoin is gold. Um,
Huh. That's an interesting
yeah, he likes
comparison.
that,
I like that.
and he doesn't like the idea of Litecoin just overtaking Bitcoin completely. It's they work together to
Okay.
form and make the cryptocurrency
Wow.
universe work.
Segwit, the
So,
hero after all, Josh. That how incredible. How poetic, huh, buddy?
mhm.
Wow, that's great. Okay.
It's pretty funny if you go to his Twitter. I'm a Dragon Ball Z fan. I know you've seen some. He has Vegeta and Goku, I think, fist bumping or walking next to each other or something like that. And Goku is Bitcoin and Vegeta is Litecoin. So that's kind of the relationship
I like that.
analogy that he kind of sees with the two cryptocurrencies.
That's good. That's good stuff. All right. So with all this, I saw you have in the notes here. We have now surpassed that number of 500 billion in market cap, right? Am I reading this properly? That's pretty exciting.
That's right. I think right now we're just over the half a trillion mark for all
Wow.
cryptocurrencies combined.
Okay.
And of that, I believe Bitcoin makes up about 53% of that. So a little over $250 billion of that is just Bitcoin alone.
That man, that gives you a taste of the scale. $500 billion is the total market cap of all cryptocurrencies, and only half of that is Bitcoin. The other half are all of these other altcoins and all of these other pieces in the cryptocurrency space. That's insane, man. This, Jesus. You couldn't ban this shit if you wanted to.
No, that's right, and that's the point of it is that even if China shuts it down or Korea or the U.S., as long as the internet exists and it's not completely banned worldwide,
Yeah.
well, I think even it was banned worldwide. As long as the internet exists, then you could trade this stuff and use it for transactions. So that's how it was built and developed to withstand any one single actor from trying to shut it down.
Yeah. Wow, that's pretty cool. So maybe one of the last things we want to touch on here in this podcast, and hopefully these will become more regular again. Midas mode is kind of what threw us off track, and now that we've got Christmas coming up, who knows? But ICOs, they have also erupted in both a good way and a bad way. It seems like they have been the ultimate, do you want to gamble in the crypto space? Because there seems to be nothing giving you any sort of insurance that this ICO is going to work as intended or actually give you anything for your cryptocurrency. And we've seen others that have actually had a pretty legit plan, have worked out pretty nicely, and some folks have seen as much as 30 times returns, from where the ICO started. So have you found any success in the ICO space, Joshy? Because it seems a little too risky for my blood. I did one, and it was not great.
That's right. ICOs are definitely a step above cryptocurrencies as far as risk. They are super high risk, but they also do sometimes have rewards. So it's been really interesting actually because ICOs were a big fad kind of in the summer and even leading up to like the past like month or so.
Mm-hmm.
However, in the recent whatever month, as Bitcoin has gone this huge rise, Litecoin, Ethereum, all the cryptocurrencies have gone on these huge rises. It's kind of weakened the ICO market because people are seeing, why should I invest in this ICO that's really high risk and everything when I can just invest in Bitcoin or Litecoin and whatever it'll quadruple, triple, whatever in price in a matter of months and everything. So it's been more recently, people have actually been shying away from the ICOs, I would say. If anything, the market's actually cooled down from it was like red hot this summer and leading up to the past couple months.
Yeah.
But recently it's kind of cooled down as not only has Bitcoin and Litecoin and all the other cryptocurrencies been a pretty good investment, just buying them and holding them rather than putting in the ICOs, but also regulations has played a big factor into this.
Mm-hmm.
The U.S., the SEC has gone after some ICOs. They've pretty much been banned in some countries, so there's a lot of bad actors in the ICO space,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of the financial regulations, different countries have kind of been clamping down on the bad actors and proposing new regulations and making the future of these ICOs a little uncertain. So it's just been seen as it's less risky and almost equal reward if you just buy a cryptocurrency and hold it.
Yeah, it absolutely has felt that way. I'm with you. I've kind of stayed away from the ICO game at this point, especially in America. A lot of them aren't even open to Americans. Yeah, there's either disclaimers or they'll geolocate and ban you by IP if you try to buy America. Some of them go as far as you have to upload ID or a passport that's from a country that doesn't have any kind of laws or gray area about ICOs. So it is definitely a space that has been cracked down on, I think, the most.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see how it evolves, but yeah, it seems like right now the ICO fad is kind of fading in my opinion. That's what I've been seeing. There's
Hmm.
still a bunch out there, don't get me wrong and everything. There's still like new ones every single week.
Yeah.
But I think the like demand for them and the people getting in for them, because I remember trying to get in a couple like 3 months ago and everything, and they would sell out in a matter of like minutes. Like sites
Yeah.
would crash and everything. They still sell out pretty fast, but they weren't nearly as high demand as they were
And
a couple months ago.
yeah, speaking of that, anecdotally, of course, we had talked about doing a specific episode about the esports.com ICO, and we ended up not doing it partially because we got busy, partially because there wasn't a whole lot to report. They didn't sell jack shit. They had raised like, what was it, 5 million or something in pre-investor amounts, aka they opened it up to their rich friends, and then they had a number on their website that was showing the additional investment where their target was, what was it, another 5 million or something. I think they capped out at like 250K, somewhere around
Yeah,
there.
they did not raise a lot of money at
Yeah,
all.
and then they just combined it into one big number and said, "Look, we raised 5.2 million. This is incredible." And we all know, of course, they didn't really raise that much. I don't know what you're buying into if you buy esports.com, and that's one where they didn't even come close to their goal. Now what do? It's like an unfunded Kickstarter, except there's no mechanism to give everybody their money back, and you just get to keep it. So you have no incentive not to just be like, "Hey guys, here's my idea. This is the world's greatest Kickstarter for innovators, quote unquote. I've got an idea in the crypto space," and then you just get to kind of keep it. And that's it. So we'll see what esports.com does. We'll kind of keep that, on the back burner to wrap up these episodes if things progress. But I don't think it warrants a standalone episode. So that is the TLDR. Great domain though. They really sniped it on
I
the
know.
domain.
I was gonna say that at least they
Fuck.
have a domain. That's got to be worth something.
I'm sure it is. Now I don't know. Maybe it's been tainted. It's probably banned from Google Ads or something. So that might tarnish the price. But all right, Josh. I think that's pretty much a wrap, though. Anything else to say as we get close to the Christmas season? Maybe a couple milli bitcoins in the old stocking this year for you and friends.
Oh man, we'll see where the Bitcoin price ends up by the end of the year. It's just been
Yeah.
going higher and higher,
Well,
and as the futures open up and the CME.
it occurred to me that you can't really give bitcoins as gifts that easily to someone that doesn't have a wallet already. Because if you set a wallet up for them, then you know what their key is, and that kind of defeats the whole fucking purpose of the security. So
Yeah. Well, you can
it's
also not just like write down their private keys and everything. You can give them like a paper wallet and deposit some money into that paper wallet.
yeah, okay, all right. I guess that's true, but you always run the risk of that never being redeemed because it's like giving a check to a
Oh
5-year-old. They're like, "Oh, great, thanks. Yeah, I guess this is money." They put it in the drawer and then it just sits there for 10 years.
Yeah, no, that's right. You shouldn't give somebody $1,000 in some paper wallet and have it only secured on a piece of paper.
Bad idea. Bad idea. So, all right, folks. Well, invest wisely. But it's funny to go back and read the comments of all the naysayers. Gotcha, guys. Look at how well all this crypto is going. Who knows if it's going to continue to go this well? Be smart, be educated. But it's been an exciting roller coaster, and hop aboard. I think at this point it's worth a couple $100 if you can spare it to gamble. Because at this point, those couple $100 that I gambled with have turned into a couple thousand. That's actually a crazy feeling when you really think about it. So that's it for us. Until next time, we will see you later.